certainly no exception. Some major political stories made national headlines this year, and our Washington correspondent Ted Fioraliso breaks down the top 5.
Number 5, President Obama publicly announces his support for same-sex marriage.
It is important for me to go ahead and affirm that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
Just a month after he announced his re-election bid, the president said his view on the issue had evolved. It was a big year for gay marriage as referendums to allow it passed in 3 states. Just a few weeks ago, the Supreme Court announced it would hear 2 gay marriage cases in its next session. Number 4, the Supreme Court rules Obamacare constitutional. Justices heard arguments on the Affordable Care Act over 3 days in March. The main battle was over the constitutionality of the individual mandate, requiring almost all Americans to buy health insurance or pay a fine. In June, Chief Justice John Roberts joined the court's liberal justices, ruling the mandate constitutional. Roberts also said the penalty for not purchasing health insurance would be in the form of a tax. The Republican-led House quickly moved to repeal Obamacare, but chances of a full repeal died after the president was reelected. Number 3. There are 2 words we've said almost every day for the past 2 months. Fiscal cliff. For weeks now, President Obama and House Speaker John Boehner have gone back and forth with their plans to avoid going over the cliff, but they've not yet come to a consensus. The president has vowed he won't sign anything that doesn't include tax increases for people earning more than $250,000. Some Republicans are starting to change their minds on that, but they say the president has to make more spending cuts. Number 2, a sex scandal forces out one of the country's most respected men. CIA Director David Petraeus resigned in November after an FBI investigation discovered he was having an affair with his biographer Paula Broadwell. As the story started unraveling, we found out a Florida socialite, Jill Kelly, had received threatening emails, which turned out to be from Broadwell. But the investigation also found Kelly had exchanged inappropriate emails with the top commander in Afghanistan, General John Allen. President Obama answered at least one of many questions.
I have no evidence at this point, from what I've seen, that classified information was disclosed that in any way would have had a negative impact on our national security.
And the number 1 political story of 2012, the presidential campaign and re-election of President Barack Obama. If it seemed long, it was. Mitt Romney quickly became the party's frontrunner, and following his VP pick of Paul Ryan, the two hit the road hard, especially in battleground states. The summer and fall was jam-packed with conventions, debates, and finally election night. But last-minute campaigning wasn't enough for the Romney-Ryan ticket. President Obama ended up with a sizable lead in electoral votes, and media outlets called it a night much earlier than anticipated. Here's to another big political news year in 2013. In Washington, I'm Ted Fioraliso.